Hi guys, Sunhee here, and today I'm going to talk about AfterLost. Of all the video ideas in the world, I could have made anything. I could have made the greatest YouTube video of all time. But do you know what I decided to put my time and effort into? AfterLost! This god-forsaken anime that came out this year. It's the worst. I hate this anime so much. I've never hated an anime so much. Why does this exist? Anyways, getting my composure and wits about me again, and being the intellectual that I am, I'm going to tell you a lot of the stuff I don't like about AfterLost. Originally, AfterLost started out as a Japanese mobile game, which looks a lot cooler than the actual anime itself. 3 years ago, a mysterious phenomenon caused hundreds of people in Tokyo to vanish with absolutely no trace. The area where this happened is now known as the Lost, and no one is allowed to go near it, while everyone tries to figure out what exactly the heckle happened here. However, there is a sole survivor, a teenage girl named Yuki. Of course, because she's the only survivor, this led to her being subjugated to a bunch of tests and experiments, which honestly makes sense. I mean, an entire world got Thanos snapped and you just get to be alive. Alright then. Enter Takuya, who is a carrier who's been tasked to deliver Yuki to the Lost because apparently she received a coded message from her father, who was in the Lost at the time when it happened, so he's presumably dead. And the message tells her that he'll be waiting for her at the Lost. So as someone who came into this anime only having this tiny synopsis, I thought it would be some kind of cool sci-fi anime, possibly along the lines of Steins Gate style. But man, was I really wrong. So let's just take 2 seconds to talk about some of the characters in the show that you get to meet in the first pilot episode. There's not a goddamn character in the fucking show that I like so far, but maybe that will change in the future. I don't really know. So let's start with our protagonist, Yuki. Yuki is a young teenage idol who we get a very small glimpse of when the episode first starts. The episode starts and all of a sudden the Lost occurs and you can see Yuki in the center of it all, and I'd imagine that kind of thing might be traumatizing to a kid, losing all of your friends and your family. So that usually is a pretty okay formula for either a very generic character or a kind of good character. So take that formula and instead we get the very timid, very annoying Yuki. I think they tried to create a type of mystery around Yuki and it didn't really work. Or perhaps that's what they were going for in the pilot episode. So she ended up becoming this very bland character with what can only be described as ability to summon a JoJo stand. Yep, that's right. She's able to summon some kind of JoJo stand with guns. And this JoJo stand is apparently her family's previous bodyguard, who is presumably dead because he died in the Lost. You get to see a brief glimpse of him on the first part of the episode, but let's be honest, like, who remembers him? Because I sure the fuck do not. Then there's Takuya, who is our second protagonist, who I can also very confidently say is a very lackluster person, character, whatever, for this show. He absolutely adds no kind of anything to the show. He's a hero who rides a scooter, which, by the way, hasn't been cool since Fully Cooley. A couple of other things that I really didn't like in this anime, or absolutely detested, was the god-awful CGI. We are in 2019. You would think that we are at a point where we don't need to have bad CGI anymore. So here you are walking around watching this anime that the art style doesn't seem so bad, and suddenly, dear God, what is that crowd of people? What is happening? Why have the animation gods abandoned us? Overall, the story in itself was hard to absorb because I didn't know what was happening. They were throwing things at you left and right, and it just felt overwhelmingly rushed and not good in any way. When I did the research and found out what studio it was that produced this anime, Madhouse Studios has made things like Summer War, The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, Redline. They've produced a lot of really good anime. Madhouse Studios, what the fuck? I applaud the animation team's efforts, but at the end of the day, you just gotta know when it has to stop. And I'm sure for some people, it's quite enjoyable to watch. But for me, it was not. I think 6 episodes in, mostly at this point, trying to see if there's any kind of salvation for it, but it only has 12 episodes. And I don't think that you can fix an anime 6 episodes into a 12-episode season. So I rate this anime 2 stars. There's not even any good waifus in it, so unfortunate.